Hey guys, Goggsy here and welcome back to this brand new video. Now today we've been joined by Stevie Wales, or A Different View. How's it going, mate?
How are you doing, mate? Good to be here.
Aye, how you feeling after the whole international scenario?
If you asked me this last night, you'd have got a different answer. But I think on reflection of today, I'm okay. I think we need to remember that we've been to 3 countries in 6 days, played extra time and penalties, and amongst that, and won the biggest game out of the 3.
Absolutely.
So I'm not sitting here panicking because we've not won our Nations League group and not secured that backup of a potential playoff. I would have liked us to be more urgent going forward last night. However, I believe that we've got a structure there that if we can get a striker who's going to put goals in the net for us, then we don't need to worry because we're creating plenty of chances.
I've got a few theories. I don't want to start digging up different ideas to why Scotland just ended up doing everything but score in the last 2 games. Because looking at the 8 games that we've played this year, we've scored 6 goals out of the 8 games, averaging what 0.75 goals per game, I think. Right, we'll go all the way back to the start. What was your expectation of the national team going into this Nations League?
Going into the Nations League, at first when we played against Israel, I was excited that he played Tierney as a left-sided centre-half with Robertson beside him. But in that game it didn't work. Where I think he deserves credit is sticking with it and keeping going. All right, we did get lucky against the Czech Republic, but we found a good striker in Lyndon Dykes. I just think we need somebody up there beside him. My expectations were probably for us to finish behind Czech Republic where we finished anyway. So I don't think that we fell short of expectation. I think the expectation was inflated because we got lucky with the coronavirus situation against the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And because we had those 2 games to qualify. Now, had we not played extra time on Thursday night, I think we would have went full strength against Slovakia, and I think we would have moved. But if somebody was to say to you before this, Goggsy, you can win one of these 3 games, you would
it's always a Serbia game.
Always a Serbia game. So we've still got the chance for the World Cup qualifying. So there's no need for some of the knee-jerk reaction that we're seeing online, I don't think.
Having a look back at Wednesday night, Scotland weren't the only team to sacrifice a top spot. Russia got beat 5-0 by Serbia. Now, I'm starting to think that there may be a trend here, because, of course, you're basically sacrificing a potential chance for a World Cup playoff spot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we needed each of the top 4 seeds who had already qualified from Group A, and then Wales and Austria each to finish in the top 2 of their qualifying group before we could even think of getting a playoff spot. And then at the same time, from a footballing perspective, I don't think we would be comfortable playing against 3 teams that are completely about 20, 30 places above us into the same group. So potentially we could have Spain, Belgium, Germany, all in the same group for the Nations League in 2022, which would be completely out of the question. I think it'd be unethical to even explore that possibility, because that's 0 points out of a possible 18.
Oh, no, absolutely. But what Steve Clarke's argument to that would be is players only get better by playing against better opposition. That's what he was saying. But as fans, for what we want to watch, there are some people not enjoying watching how we are playing just now, and that's what does getting results. So if we were to go into that week against those teams, people would be on Steve Clarke's back to the word go. The thickle bunch I'm talking about. So I think you've got a point. I think we definitely are more suited to League B. However, we should always be looking to progress as a national side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, that could, like, the financial aspect of that for us as a nation, it's so much more beneficial than playing against, say, Israel again, because there's no doubt we're going to get them again. Let's be honest.
We better not get.
I'm so fed up of playing against them. That's 5 times in 3 years. Before that, it was like 25 years since the last time we played them. Give us a Finland or someone. Anyone but Israel.
Well, I'm actually looking at the pots just now, and I've picked out a wee group that I'll tell you at the end. I just want.
Oh yeah, we can do that. I don't think it's that bad a thing for us to finish second in our group.
No, it's not.
I mean, for the short term, we've done fantastically well in getting us into the Euros. However, for the long term, it does affect us in terms of the way of potentially qualifying for the World Cup 2022 in Qatar and the Euros in Germany in 2024 because, well, of course, a promotion would have increased our rankings even further. But I do not think we'd have been in pot 2 for the World Cup qualifying because I think there still would have been a lot of ground to make up, even if we'd won the 2 games against Slovakia and Israel.
Absolutely. And I think what we need to be looking at, Scotland have an identity now. Let's forget results. Scotland have an identity. We have a style of play. We're hard to beat. We're going into these Euros as well. Nobody's going to like playing against us, Goggsy.
No, absolutely.
Nobody's going to come out and put 3 or 4 past us with the way we play. I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to win every game.
No.
You see, if we can go to the Euros and sneak 2 games 1-0 and qualify for that group, you try to tell me the people will be sitting here going, but we didn't win the Nations League group. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely spot on.
And we need to be realistic. We've got a good squad, but we don't have a squad that can compete at the highest level of international football at the moment.
No. And I think we're very far off that because, well, I don't want to make excuses because that I say it how it is. I mean, we're physically not a big enough nation to be in pot 1 on a regular basis.
Not at all, but you should always strive to be there. But I think it needs to start from the bottom, and we need the finances that you're talking about to put in to the youth systems. And then maybe 10, 15 years down the line, then we might see a generation come through that we can go, wow, this is the generation. Like, look at Belgium, for example. Small country.
Yeah. Belgium's like no bigger than us.
Yeah. Iceland, all right. Smaller than us, for example. Been to the Euros.
Look at what Iceland have done. They've made public parks free to play. They've literally built like football domes, indoor football parks that you can actually go for free. You don't have to pay a penny. You can go have a kickabout. A local club that plays in my town, last time I checked, it was like 30, 40 quid a month to get proper coaching.
There's a problem. There's the issue.
I mean, my original team in Cooper, Fife, it was £2 a week for me to go and play football. Okay, I got played every position on the park, but at the same time, I was learning how to play every position. Whereas everyone else in the league, everyone just played one position, and we got scalped every week, but we were learning how to play every different position. Well, that is the foundation of how to play football. Whereas everyone got played in their strongest position. Okay, they absolutely smashed us, but at the same time, how many other players in this world, realistically, are going to be ahead of you playing in their favourite position at the same time? Whereas if you've got a backup position, you've got a second chance, basically, of being a proper player.
He's talking about playing out of position. Scott McTominay, for example, we take it back to Scotland. He must be sitting thinking, God, this manager wants me to play everywhere except my favourite position. But to me, it looks so solid at centre half that I wouldn't take him out there. But sometimes when you move things about, when you dig things, that's when players find a new position and just go, wow, I'm more suited to this.
See, when I watched the first game against Israel, when we drew 1 each, I was so pissed off that McTominay was in centre half. But
it was a scapegoat, wasn't it? It was the easy target.
It was a scapegoat. But as we got on and we sort of developed it, as it got more of a sort of structure to it, and we were actually used to seeing the same sort of team, we started picking up results throughout this group. And okay, we made a few changes for the Slovakia game on Sunday, but let's be honest, the players were on the beach.
Oh, they had every right to enjoy that night on Thursday. Oh. There's people saying that they shouldn't have drank, they should have been ready for the next game. Hypocrites. Absolute hypocrites. What was everybody in the country doing on Thursday night?
I mean, I was so hungover walking into work the next day at 9 o'clock, but I didn't care.
Exactly. It's the most I've ever enjoyed a hangover in my life.
I mean, people were saying to me, "Oh, you look a bit worse for wear." I was like, "Excuse me? Do you know what just happened last night?"
Exactly. Do you like football? Do you watch football? You know what I mean? But no. I just think we need to keep doing what we're doing, Goggsy. I really do. Mm-hmm. Don't change anything. Don't have the knee-jerk reaction and rip it up and start again. Because if it's no broke, don't fix it.
I was looking at like a lot of comments, and I never read comments after football matches because I know exactly what people are going to be saying because it's the same every single time. But just for the sake of this video, I was thinking, right, let's have a look. And so, judging on the comments from after we drew 1 each with Israel in the first game that Scotland played this year, it was pretty much the same as the last time we played Israel.
Yep.
It was as if that just never happened. Whatever happened last week against Serbia, it just never happened.
I know. Football opinions are constantly evolving in football, and they change after every game. And well, I agree that we can't live off that one forever.
But we'll always have that memory of us winning that penalty shootout.
Think of the travel involved. These players are not robots. Mm-hmm. They're not robots. And we made 8 changes to the team in Slovakia. Like, I always get mixed up between the two, you know what I'm like. Yeah. But no, we made 8 changes. And we still should have won that game. So, I see people online blaming Steve Clarke, right? Get out, grow up, as Paul Slade would say, grow up. You know what I mean? We played a B squad. We created. It's not his fault that people aren't putting balls in the net. Mm-hmm. He's got a select pool of players to choose from, and the only one that you could argue that he hasn't picked that should be put in the squad is Kevin Nisbet. There is no other obvious. No other obvious replacement for the strikers, and I challenge anyone in the comments to come up with.
I don't know if there's like. We all slag off Ollie McBurney to death, but when is there going to be the time where Steve Clarke properly has a look at that and say, well, 15 games, no goals?
He has been poor, hasn't he? We can't sugarcoat that. Mm-hmm. He's been horrible to watch.
I never slag off a player because I know what it's like being a footballer, and especially with the limelight of the national team. It's completely 100%ified, and which is a phrase I've just made up, but it's absolutely true. I think that there is a lot of pressure on McBurney. He's very short of confidence, but I honestly don't think you should give a player short of confidence a certain slot in the national team.
But the thing is, to gain confidence, players need game time. But you're spot on. The national stage isn't the stage to do it.
Exactly. And you look at his club record, he's got, 6 goals and 40-odd appearances for Sheffield United.
And what will end up happening is, and you've seen it, he'll end up trying too hard and overthinking things like you've seen in Slovakia, where he took the touch when he should just have shot. That's a confidence issue.
One thing that sums me up about Ollie McBurney's performances was that last year against Cyprus, we were 2-1 up, and he was running through on goal. He slowed down and looked for a pass. And
I said the same with Ryan Christie last night, right? See, when he had the chance to get through and goal and he slowed down. If that's Lee Griffiths on those 2 occasions, shot away. I'm not saying he scores, right? But at least gets a shot away. And if you look at last night, that's how fine the margins are. If Christie finds the right pass and slips McGinnon, we're 1-0 up. And if you ask me, we don't then push on for the goal that we concede because we've got something to hold. But that's how close we were to getting the result last night. It's just the decision making in the final third. It's letting us down. It's always letting us down at the minute.
I just want to address those that I say it's embarrassing getting beat by Israel. Israel are actually pretty good. Like, the rankings don't do them any justice.
Nacho, Daza, Zahavi, Solomon. These are all players that...
Then you've got the Boer, who wasn't even starting.
The Boer who wasn't starting. Beaton plays with Celtic.
Marciano.
Marciano's a good goalkeeper. They've got a good squad. And if you look at
a team, and a lot of people think, oh, because they're a nation that's X amount of places below us in the rankings, thinking it's embarrassing going there and not picking up a result. I don't want to be saying this as an excuse for any failure of getting a result last night. But I mean, it was the same with Motherwell. We got beat by a team from Israel, and people saying it was embarrassing that we basically let down Scotland. But Israel, in my opinion, is a better financially placed league than the Scottish Premiership is. And that's mad to think.
You look at the games between Scotland and Israel, right? The first one we had away, McClushview never set up, right? Okay, they hammered us, right? Yeah. See, since then, it's been so tight. Every game has been so tight, even the one that got us to the playoff at Hampden. Yeah. Because it's two sides that set themselves up to be hard to beat. So there's never going to be much between the teams because they're structured and they're organised.
But even now, the last two games that we've got beaten in, we've played better in than games that we've won.
All we need to do, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but it's important that I get my message through. Like people are, we just need a striker. Like, that's all we need.
It's great that we've got Lyndon Dykes, but for me, personally, I would set us with two up top. But I want Lyndon Dykes to be playing off Lee Griffiths.
I get a bit of stick online for saying that I would have took Christie off at half time last night.
Really?
I would have took Christie off at half time, and I thought just because his decision making in the final third. I get that he's one of our most creative players, but we need to try Griffiths up top with Dykes.
And last night was a perfect opportunity to do so.
And it would have been, and I believe that. Even if we take Christie back a bit and play them in behind the two of them and play them in the more comfortable
just play them in the hole.
Play them in the hole, and then we'll see a front three. Because McGinn can do that work rate in the middle of the park. He's a strong boy, so he can be in there.
Basically plays with two players.
And that means dropping Jack or McGregor. But I think it's something we need to do. And to be honest, right now I would give Ryan Jack that other starting place. I think the two of them are too alike. Whereas if you play Jack, McGinn and Christie, you get three players in there that are different and they each have different strengths. So get versatility in the midfield. That's why we go with that in the middle.
We've done our talk about basically how we all feel about the Nations League. Yeah, we can all feel a bit deflated that we've thrown away a chance to get cuffed by Spain, Belgium or Portugal. But on Monday, the 7th of December, 5 p.m, that is when the European section of the World Cup qualifying draw is made. Now, we've got the pot here on screen right now in post-production. I've put it up.
Right.
Stevie, talk us through who you would take in the group.
Pot one. Will I give you two teams that I would take, or you just want the one?
Up to you, mate. Go for it.
Right, okay. Right, I'll give you my group, right, and then I'll suggest other teams that I would potentially take after that. So pot one, I want Denmark is the top seed that we get. In pot two, I would quite like Slovakia because I think that was showing that we can go there and we can compete with them.
Yeah.
Pot three is obviously us. Pot four, please just avoid Israel, man. Israel, Belarus, and Georgia are three teams that I want to avoid in that pot. I'd probably take Luxembourg.
Do you not want to avoid Bosnia-Herzegovina as well?
Well, obviously it goes without saying they've got Pjanic and Dzeko, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel probably Luxembourg, then Andorra and San Marino. So basically the easiest group that we can get is essentially the group that I want.
That is pretty much the easiest group we can get.
Well, but you differ than any?
Well, for me, like I'm just looking at it as a perspective of where I would like to go. Because I've got the intention of going to every one of these games.
Have you set up the GoFundMe yet?
What's that?
Have you set up the GoFundMe yet?
Oh yeah, mate. That is happening. That is happening right now. But Yeah, Denmark is absolutely who you want from pot one. I mean, I've never been, so aye, bring it on. Pot two, you can say Slovakia, but I also think Austria is a team that's very dodgy. Austria played against a second-string Norway team because Norway were forced to basically do what Czech Republic did against us, and Norway took the lead. They were 10-1 to win the game, and Austria scored in the 94th minute to avoid defeat.
There you go.
So
Austria, is that a mentality issue? Is that what we done against Czech Republic? Is that them thinking they've got a second string squad out here?
It could be.
Whereas if we go there with a full squad, they'll be up and they'll be like.
The thing is, Austria are very beatable. I mean, the last time we played Austria, Gary O'Connor scored the winning goal, and we won 1-0.
I remember that, in fact.
Aye, I remember watching the teletext. Anyway, from pot 3, obviously it's us. Pot 4, yeah, Luxembourg. Give us them. Because I know whoever we get from pot 4, that potentially could be the banana skin. Because every qualifying, we have that one game that we fuck it up.
It's usually away to the pot 4 team, isn't it?
Exactly. Because, I mean, even if we had beaten Israel in one of the 2 games over the Nations League, we'd have qualified. Pot 5, yeah, give us Andorra. I mean, I'd happily take the Faroes as well. Estonia, they are even worse than ever before.
The Faroes would be good for that trip as well, because it's literally just...
Yeah, the Faroes would be good for a trip.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, take us to Toftir anytime. Obviously, Kazakhstan you want to avoid. Kosovo, I think, would be a banana skin as well. But anyone else, I think we could handle. And pot 6, San Marino again. I'd love to go back.
I'd agree with that. But there's other teams you look at. I think pot 1 by the time the qualifiers come around, Croatia.
Yeah, I think we can beat Croatia.
Because Modric and Rakitic are aging. Mm-hmm. They're not getting any younger. And by the time the later qualifiers come around, are they even going to be in the team? Are they going to retire after the Euros, or are they going to want one more shot at the World Cup?
Then again, though, Croatian under-21s, you've got Lovro Majer's coming in as well.
Is that the boy that went for 40 million or something?
I think it is.
18 million or something? I don't know. Is he a winger?
He's an attacking midfielder anyway. He's a football manager.
I'm sure I heard the commentators mentioning him that he went to a Bundesliga club for loads of money. I don't know if it's him that talked, but they mentioned somebody. Pot 2, another good away day. Sweden, man.
Oh, take me to Sweden, man.
Thank you, the birds in Sweden. That's all I'm saying. We like it in Sweden, that's all I'm saying.
Me and you taking up Stockholm, mate.
Or Wales, because it's close.
Aye, Wales. I'll take Wales. Us against Mark Peplow.
Right. Can line him up once you beat them. No, I better not say anything. Obviously, we've not even mentioned England in pot 1 as well. Imagine England, Scotland, and Wales in the same group.
Oh. Now, that would be interesting. Because, of course, we can't get either of the Irelands.
Because they're in the same pot. So, but no, I think we've covered a good bit there.
Yeah. But, I think that's it, pretty much. But, yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with England, again, as long as we qualify for a second, at least. I think that's the main focus now, I think.
Well, definitely will be. And out there, as I'm watching, don't expect it to be pretty. These qualifiers, it's not going to be. You're not going to get nice attacking, flowing football under Steve Clarke, but you might get results.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it.
Did you say, by the way, the guy that was uncovered in the Serbia game with me? Who was right? I just had to get that in. Who was right?
I mean, I did
set the team up hard to beat. There was no way we were getting done 3-0 in that game. No way.
I love that. Of course, I did say on stream we'd draw 1 each and win on penalties.
Well, I think we both said that, didn't we? The stream when I passed the mic before the Thursday. So there you go. Mystic Stephen, Mystic Gog, yeah.
Aye, there we go. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this wee video. I thought we'd put out a wee video just to soothe the nation. Let's not panic too much. The button is way over there to be pressed. It's completely out of reach at the moment. I think the whole nation, us included, overreacted about the defeats to Israel and Slovakia. Okay, maybe it may show a couple of cracks in our team, but as of now, I think we've got every right to just be relaxing. We're on the beach. We're in the Euros. Roll on the World Cup qualifying draw on Monday, the 7th of December.
We'll do a live reaction for that, Gogsy.
Absolutely, mate. We'll be live from 4:45. There we go.
There we go.
And yeah, guys, we'll see you later. Take care.